Good evening all, I am Alpana Ganguly here, your host for the session titled Dhrupad. Dhrupad is the oldest raga music of Bharat. Dhrupad is either sung or predominantly played on the veena and the sulpahar. Here we have Dr. Subratadeva Sharvanapantapadhyay, founder of Bharata Arsheya Sansthan, Bhasha, Pune. Bhasha hopes to rejuvenate the knowledge the rishis have given us. Dhrupad is one such important activity of Bhasha which has been formalized by setting up the Academy for Dhrupad Music and Research. Dhrupad Darpan is a frequent activity of Admur involving Dhrupad renditions, lectures and podcasts. In today's podcast, we have Srimati Shilpa Shankar Narayan, fine and commercial artist and Dhrupad singer from Philippines, Ameya Gore, filmmaker and Dhrupad singer Pune, Vivek Patil, film music director and Dhrupad student from Kolhapur, and Anshuman Jangi, marketing professional and Dhrupad student from the USA. They and I shall ask questions to Dr. Bandyopadhyay on the concepts of Dhrupad. So let's start from Shilpa ji.
So we are meeting for this on this auspicious occasion of Guru Pournima. So I think today I will just give the space to Subroto sir, and I just want to ask one question from him, that because he has also this great expertise in our Shastras and the Vedic knowledge, can he tell us a little bit about, what do we see in the Shastras, how do we see Guru, and in music learning, how do we bring that into our life?
Yeah, that's very interesting. The question is really interesting because just a couple of days back, I had a sort of an insight about the idea of Guru. Although I was initially thinking of, discussing about Dhrupad as a concept and why do we call Dhrupad by this name at all. So we will come to that. But your first question, Guru, if you look at the etymology, it says that anybody or anything which brings you from darkness to light. It could be a person, or it could be an event, or even it could be just an experience. So, because experiences are also inspirational, basically some forces, they give you certain kind of experiences, and from those experiences you start coming out of one darkness and coming into another light to find other darknesses. To locate other darknesses. And in fact, somebody has said in Western philosophy, that education itself is a continual process of discovering your ignorance. So that's the Western perspective, and it is true to a large extent. But when you come to Guru, now I also study astrology, Vedic astrology. So I have found that the planet Guru has got very specific roles in each individual's life, depending on her or his constitution and how the distribution of star material is there in that person's being, not only physically but also at the subtler levels. What kind of distribution and what degrees of different planets and stars are there in that person. So when Guru is there in the first house of the Vedic chart, then the Guru operates like Brahma, because it is directly looking 180 degrees looking at the 7th house, which is Shukra, and Shukra is known to be the creative force. So when Guru is looking directly at Shukra, it is enhancing the element of creativity in the individual. So to whatever level, to whatever index Guru is operating on an individual, the person will have the ability to create. Now if Guru comes to the 5th house, the 5th house of the chart actually is the father's or the Santan's house or the last past lives house. Now this is the insight I am discussing with you, because it is original and it is not, you will not find it in any other book. This is an insight. And if the Guru comes from the 5th house of an individual, then the Guru operates like a father. And remember, the 5th house belongs to Surya, and Surya is considered to be a Krur Graha and Prakhar. It ensures certain things. The father will always ensure that the son will do certain things and come to a level of what he expects or what he thinks to be the right way of living. But when it goes to the 9th house is Bhagya. So these are significant as illustrations of how the Guru operates in various parts of a Vedic chart, birth chart of a person. In earlier days, the music teacher would first ask for the Kundali of the student to understand whether this student has got the potential to learn, not only to learn, but to assimilate, to stick to it, and then to be able to communicate. All these things are there. So unless a student has all these qualities, she or he cannot learn, will not be taught actually. The Guru will refuse. I will give you an example. There was a very great Pandit of the Gwalior Gharana, Pandit Sharat Chandra Arolkar. He used to see the Kundali of the student first to teach, and that tradition was there earlier. The point is that these planets are not merely something which will influence you, or something which, like moon. When the moon, it's a full moon, you have a high tide, and when there is a receding, when you see the sea receding, it is a low tide. That time the moon has become minimum. It is just so it is not that kind of cause and effect. It is the change in the quality of those planets which are there in your chart, and therefore causing you to be a particular person and to be doing a certain thing and doing that well or not so well. So the Guru would first see the Kundali. That's what I'm saying. So the Guru has to actually, traditionally, if the person is a Vedic Guru, she or he has to know Jyotish. Without Jyotish, because Jyotish is a Vedang, and therefore it is important to combine. So what I have done is, I have combined the knowledge of Samaveda, whatever little I have, and the knowledge of Jyotish, and I have come to this conclusion that Guru, in these places of a person's Vedic chart, would behave in a particular way. So it is not that Guru is a person who is teaching you. It is how you get attracted. Gurutva jise kehte hain na. How people get attracted to a Guru, or how a Guru gets attracted to a student. So that attraction is the Guru Tattva. And from that Guru Tattva, the teacher and the student both learn. We keep learning. I mean, it's not that we are, we know everything about everything. It's not that. So the Guru Tattva operates from the teacher to the student, and it also operates from the student to the teacher. That's what it's meant.
Thank you, sir. Just thing I want to mention here. There is some 100 and something year old manuscript which I have, and it's called Sangeet Vinod. I've told sir about it. it's just crumbling pieces of paper, some 300 odd pages. And I've tried to put it together and all of that. In that, the second or third page is a kundali. And I was wondering, why is this here? Because it's a manuscript of compositions in all sorts of rags, everything. Or like I have actually made an Excel sheet कि किस राग में कितना composition है, and there are 2 or 3 kundalis in the beginning, and I wonder, and so the writer has given his own kundali on that page. It's very exciting that you mentioned the same.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because now in this current contemporary world, there are some everything is put in a box. This is guru, this is student, this is learning, this is knowledge, all of that. But I think we need to relook. We need to examine how we are actually understanding a certain concept or an idea, and how are we approaching. And also, it's also becoming a little bit unpleasant at some places where the way these terms are used. Sometimes it's unjustified. So I feel that we really need to change the rhetoric and maybe go back to our ancient knowledge and basis to restructure how we. That is why I asked you that how do we see that aspect of guru? Because in today's times we do feel a certain, we do ask these questions, that especially with a lot of our democracy that happens, we do say, oh, is this a guru is the same as teacher or no? But then how? So we need to ask these questions, and I really appreciate the way you have explained it, because it adds so much depth and layers.
Yeah, this is a very fundamental question which I've asked before many years back. It's a very fundamental question with respect to the whole pedagogy of Bharatiya Shastriya Sangeet itself. It's a 2-word question actually. Why rag? Why rag? Like, why is rag the framework for our music?
So, see, rag has the word rag was first. If you look at literature, the idea was there in Bharatanatyam Shastra also, and he has said that ranjayate iti raga. So, what is rag? Which causes a kind of a happiness in our minds. That is what is rag. Now, it is just a definition. But when we say that we follow a particular system, or there is a tradition, rather than system, if we call it a tradition, then there are certain givens upon which we need to work. If those givens are not there, then there are chances that you would do anything you like to do. That's fine. I mean, nobody is stopping people to sing anything other than raga. But in this particular tradition of say Dhrupad, we base our entire edifice on raga. Now, why we do that is that raga is the only way to get into rasa. Raga and rasa, these two are in fact two sides of the same coin. And we believe, even Abhinav Gupta has said, that rasa itself is Ishwar, it is Alaukik. Although in Bharatanatyam Shastra, he has not talked about rasa as something which is not local, in the sense in our local senses. He is saying that rasa is an outcome of bhava. Now, are these two things contradictory? No, because Bharata is talking in the context of natya. So there are 8 rasas he is talking about, but Abhinav Gupta adds this 9th ras called Shanta rasa, because if you have to go into the adhyatmic level, if you want to go there, then you'll have to first calm your mind. And calming your mind, there are certain ragas which have got Shanta ras in it, and that ras cannot come without rag. I don't know anything else which can give me rasa of that quality. But when we sing rag, I'm very sure that the rasa is coming from the rag itself, because there is no other element. That is why Gan is considered to be, in fact, the highest form of expression of rasa. So I think I have answered your question to that extent. Any other? But about that guru, I just wanted to add something. In our tradition, Acharya is a different person and a Guru is a different person. Acharya is a person who would ensure that you exactly do what the Guru is trying to ask you to do. In Shiksha, for example, if there is a mantra, the mantra uchchar with its swaras, etc. should be perfect. Until that time, the Acharya will not leave you. But the Guru will tell you what to do and what not to do. That is Yam Niyam. It starts. The Guru starts from Yam Niyam to the end, to Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, everything. But Acharya will teach you how to actually practically do it so that you go into the next step. That is the difference. Okay. So, when we are talking about Dhrupad, we have been encountering the definition of Dhrupad from everywhere. All our musicians, our musicologists, etc., have been talking about what is Dhrupad. And in a single sentence, which I think is rather simplistic, they would say Dhruva plus Pada is Dhrupad. Therefore, the Pada, that is the song, they would call Pada as the song, which does not change like the Dhruvatara, pole star. Now, with due respect to all the people who have actually thought this and said this seems to me to be very little impossible, because it is conjectural, and it is also a faith to tell that yes, मेरे गुरु ने मुझे जैसे सिखा मैं वैसे ही गा रहा हूँ, या जैसे तानसेन ने कंपोज किया था वही तानसेन की कंपोजिशन हम आज भी गा रहे हैं. लेकिन मैंने बहुत बार देखा है कि हमारे गुरुवर्य भी जो गा रहे हैं उसमें 4 गुरुओं के गाने में उस वही बंदिश अलग अलग गाया जाता है. तो हमारे सामने प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण ये है कि नहीं, ध्रुपद का ये डेफिनेशन हो नहीं सकता है. कि क्या है कि ध्रुव प्लस पद. लेकिन आप अगर भरतनाट्य शास्त्र देखेंगे तो उसमें ध्रुवा ये शब्द यूज किया है, नॉट ध्रुव. ध्रुवा क्यों यूज किया है, मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि वाई द ध्रुवा वर्ड हैज बीन यूज्ड इज बिकॉज ध्रुवा इज ए सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी एंड पद इज द वर्ड, रफली स्पीकिंग. सो दैट वर्ड विच ग्रेविटेट्स एवरी टाइम in an avartan is the Dhruvapada. And by that logic, almost all Indian song forms have an element of Dhruvapada in it. Because we are bound by the cyclical topology of time. So when we start, say for example, if I start Shiva Adi Madhanta Shiva Adi Madhanta Jogata Jogi Shiva Kanaka Visha Ami Adi Visha Bhogi Shiva. Whatever I do, I come back to Shiva Adi. So that Shiva Adi is the Dhruva of that particular composition, and that is the Dhruva Pada of the composition. Now there is another interpretation. Dhruva Pada is also the steps. So every step you take after starting a composition has to be at the same antar. You cannot start walking with one step longer and one step shorter. So therefore, the cyclicity of your avartan of a bandish is measurable. Otherwise, it is not measurable. There is no standard unit. So the anguli is a measure in Rigved. How anguli is a measure in Rigved, and that anguli will be the unit of measurement. While you construct a house or while you construct a Vedi, यज्ञ का जो वेदी होता है वो, similarly to build our composition, I require a basic unit, and that unit is the time of that unit is also called Dhruvapada. So as everything is subjunctive to time, we know that everything is subjunctive to time. Therefore, our pada is also subjunctive to time. In Samaveda, we have something called Stovakshara. In this mantra, the end, the last, now this sets the pace of the Sama mantra. So when you do a Parayan of Sama mantra, you start with the same pace and you end with the same pace. You don't change the pace. In Dhrupad also, we have been told in tradition that when you start a bandish, you don't change the pace in middle. Once you finish a particular stage of singing, you may want to change your pace. But first you establish a foundation. The premise has to be strong. And then only then the premises will happen properly. So there's a difference between premise and premise. People always mistake. So the foundations are strong, only then the building will be something to recognize. So our bandish, the foundation is Dhruvapada. That is the idea of Dhruvapada. Now,
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Anshuman also has a question.
Okay, yeah, Anshuman.
तो सर क्या कहा जा सकता है कि ध्रुपद का जो डेफिनेशन है वो लय, छंद और उसकी स्टेबिलिटी और अनमूविंगनेस से ज्यादा जुड़ा है rather than the actual unmovability of rendition of the composition. मतलब बंदिश को बयान करने की स्टेबिलिटी की बात नहीं है, उसके स्ट्रक्चर, लय और छंद की स्टेबिलिटी की बात है.
Yeah, so when you select a particular lay, based on the composition, we have been talking Shilpa ji also with that when we had decided upon that, how do we decide upon the lay of a bandish? Okay, what you're saying is right, that it is the stability of the rendition at that particular point of time. That stability is somehow an index of Dhruvapada, the idea of Dhruvapada. So how do we, I'm coming to my first question, how do we, what are those elements which go to define the word Dhrupad? It is not only Dhruva plus Pada. It gives some idea, but it is not just that much. So what are those elements? Borrowing from sociology, any concept will be understood completely only through its operatives. Now what are those operatives which bring us the idea of Dhrupad? One is lay, and therefore naturally time, and the pada itself, how we actually put it in the temporal mold. Now take the case of Ayo hai megana go re is the sum here. Ayo hai megana go re. I may be one or matra, two matra, zero there, but I'm just giving an example. So how did I get this space? Supposing I just give you the words Ayo hai meghana ghorita. So how do you get the pace? So Shilpa ji, I have told you कि Ayo hai meghana gho. Abhi jo me, there are two aspects of it. One is just semantics, and the other, of course, semiotics is there. That's a higher study. I'm going to talk about semantics and the grammar of it, grammar and the meaning. So when we are talking about the megha, it's approaching just when the monsoon season is approaching. The megha does not come very fast. It is an observation. It comes slowly. That is one indication. Second indication is there in the composition itself. Meghana ghorit mare sa. Unless I do this effectively, or yo hai mein. If I am not able to do this, then the rag is not exposed. Therefore, the lay is given from not only the bandish, it also is given from the meaning of the bandish. So that lay, the indication of lay is one of the operatives of Dhruvapada.
So I wanted to ask, right now, like when the format of our a typical performance in our Dagarwani Dhrupad tradition is of this alap madhyalaya Dhrut, and then the Dhrupad bandish.
Yes.
Or Damar bandish. So, but when we speak of Sadharani Giti or the history of the alap, was ye milan kab hua? Like was the alap and the Dhrupad performance always together, or is it a relatively recent phenomenon? Like performing it like this?
We cannot say historically. See, these things have not been communicated. Only Bharatnatyam Shastra is one place where we can find some indications. And Bharatnatyam Shastra also is a compendium of the then practices. It is not something original contribution of Bharata saying that he has created a Dhrupad. No. So Bharatnatyam Shastra tells us that there is Nibaddha and Anibaddha Sangeet. Now he does not tell us that whether Anibaddha and Nibaddha should be sung together. That he does not tell us. That will be left to you, whether you want to sing it together or not. Sometimes I have seen many of our gurus, Dagar, jo parampara ke guru hai, they have just sung alap and gone away.
Right.
So there is nothing like hard and fast rule that one has to sing the alap as well as the Dhrupad bandish. But point is, there are traditions still alive which only sing the composition. But that is their choice. That is their context. It is not that they don't know alap or they don't know the rag or they don't want to sing it. Now, for example, if you go to Nathadwara, they have this tradition of singing the bandish with a lot of bhav in it. So their predominance is on, the focus is on, Dagarwani focuses on Shruti. So we focus on the Sangeet part. We also focus on there is a lot of connection, direct connection with the Vedic chanting, singing and our Dagarwani Dhrupad. That we can discuss some other time.
Okay.
But Anshuman.
बस इसके अंदर एक फॉलो अप सर, अगर नबिद और अनबिद, what is constructed and what is not constructed is the definition of the two forms of music, upaj and what is written, and it can be taken ke whether you are singing alap where the actual structure of the rag is nabid but your improvisation within it, and similarly you see that in the bandish. But then can it not also be said that the alap represents on the larger scale the anabid and the bandish represents what is written, and that while it is true that different gharanas might emphasize the alap or de-emphasize it, that a complete performance of a rag should have some aspect of both alap and bandish in it, or you think that's not the case?
No, partially what you're saying is true, but it is Nibaddha and Anibaddha is not, the translation is not constructed and deconstructed. So our worldview itself is different. So for want of words, for better words, you're using constructed. But rag is a given, it is not a constructed thing. It's not a construct. Rag is a given. 6 rag, 36 ragini, we do not know from when it is coming. So that's a given material to you. And on the basis of that material, you either go free-flowing or you take somebody's composition and sing. Nibaddha Sangeet is what? Baddha. The word Baddha comes from Bandh. Bandh is actually Bandish ka bhi root wo Bandh hai. When you look at a Samavedic mantra, there are boundaries given. Usko Purna Viram bolte hain. But there are 2 Purna Virams. After every mantra, there are 2 Purna Virams. And then again there is mantra, there are 2 Purna Virams. that is a band. So it gives you a mantra is a constructed part of that. But the stov akshara like avhova or ida, these are not constructed, and they don't actually have any meaning in terms of pad. They convey meaning, but they are not. They can't have a meaning in the dictionary. So anibadha, when you got given a material of rag, because we are human beings and not Shiva, we cannot be Kal Gras Rasik. Kal Gras Rasik is a concept which I have borrowed and I have also used it in some of my composition. Is coming from Shaiva Darshan. Shaiva Darshan में काल ग्रास रसिक ऐसे शिव को कहा है. तो Shiva has devoured the Kal, time, and he is enjoying in that timelessness. We cannot do that. From that point of view, yes, we are bound by time. जैसे मैं अगर र न रे ना नो र न ते त र न रे ना. This is, as I told you in the beginning, it is subjunctive to time. Whatever we do, we cannot say that we are timeless. In that sense, we are all baddha by time, bound by time. But what Bharat is saying, nibaddha and animaddha, is the composition and the exposition of rag. That is the difference.
So, another follow-up. I mean, if I look at art history in general over the world, the idea of abstract art, which, like you said, doesn't have any fixed meaning which you can relate to, nothing relatable, is a relatively recent phenomenon. Even in the Western world, you see that all the great architecture, the great sculptures, all was first, like Michelangelo, he did sculptures and all that for the church first, and later on it became like it was freed from the church, right? So, do you think in a way it's something similar that happened in terms of music in India, that जो पहले ये rag is abstract again, the rag, but the performance was never, I mean, conjecture है कि performance में आलाप पहले शायद नहीं होता होगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि वो शायद गुरु शिष्य राग को practice करने के लिए करते होंगे. But do you think the audience had that kind of inclination to just listen to something abstract? Because for lack of a better word, आप रस बोल रहे हैं, but even रस का ग्रहण करना, was it, do you think it was allowed? What I'm trying to say is कि that joy, experiencing that joy, was it without Ishwar, without the reference to Ishwar, without the reference to a god? This secular kind of music, was it there earlier?
Yeah. So when we look at Bharatanaट्य Shastra, is around 600 to 300 BC. That is the time. And Bharata is talking about the relationship of bhav and rasa. I am starting from the end of your question. So when we are talking about bhav and rasa, it is local. It is not alaukika in Bharata. So there is, if you use the word secular, it is there already. Now, in different contexts, it has been used. Although Bharata's first prayog was Indrajal. Indrajal was the first prayog which Bharata did. And he is saying that it is, whatever is happening, it is happening in the presence of all the gods and goddesses. Now, the context of church is a little different, because that's a completely different ball game. But in our civilization, there is no such division between secular and dharmic. That division is a little artificial. Now, coming to the point of whether alap was sung or not. Now here we are again creating a dichotomy between performance and sadhana. Performance and practice. This is again a Western worldview. In the Indian worldview, sadhana, the sidekick of sadhana is the enjoyment that people gain from that, or get from that. It's a sidekick, that is not the purpose. Then some people would be invited to sing. अगर आप तो इतना अच्छा गा रहे हैं तो आप हमारे पास आके गाइए. So it was like that. Even in the princely states, my guru told me that the musician would only live in the place which the king has given him. He would teach students, he would create students, they would perfect their art, if we can call it art, and only once or twice in a year, somebody's birthday or something, they would be invited to please come and do something. So performance was not the focus at all. So the dichotomy is removed there. Now alap, see, from ancient times, the shrutis and the swaras, they have been discovered by sadhana, through sadhana. So alap is part of the discovery. You cannot
नहीं सर, मैं आई वाज सेइंग कि आलाप जिस तरह से अभी हम लोग आरना जैसे करते हैं, उसका कोई एंशिएंट फॉर्म पहले परफॉर्म होता था क्या ऐसे?
होता ही होगा, क्योंकि ये इतना रिच ट्रेडिशन कभी, सी आई कैन ओनली से दैट सिंस इट हैज कम टू सच अ रिच लेवल टुडे. ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर लेवल्स ऑफ एवरी म्यूजिशियन. कोई अच्छा गाता है, कोई अभी सीख रहा है, कोई आगे जाके अच्छा गाएगा, ऐसा है. तो जो हम आज गा सकते हैं और जो हमारे गुरुओं का हमने सुना है, वो इतना रिच है कि इट कुड नॉट जस्ट इमर्ज फ्रॉम नोवेयर. इट हैज टू हैव अ लॉन्ग 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 ट्रेडिशन. दैट्स द आंसर.
अंशुमन,
या
just a comment to sir's point, and this is from my amateur view. I have seen that the alarm is endemic all the way from Turkey to China. It is something that is in the idea of improvising. To sir's point, is something that within the scale, within the mode, is something I think that is civilizational to, maybe found in Bharatiya culture first, but generally to not having an alap is perhaps a Western construct, because I've seen in almost every other culture that heavily engages in some sort of quote unquote classical tradition, the idea of improvisation within the mode seems to be a given for any full performance.
if Alpana has any questions, she has been just coordinating, because she's also a singer, by the way. She sings.
Yeah, a bathroom singer would be a better version of it.
No, not at all. So
Okay, my simple question: what drew you to Dhrupad?
what drew you?
So actually, it's a good question for me as personally, because I can tell what my journey was. So when I was learning at the age of 8, when I was learning from Pandit Neelkanta Mishra late, I was learning the Gwalior tradition of Gaiki. But then when I used to practice, I somehow on my own I used to do the Arana Rananum, these things, but not the perfect one. ऐसे ही अपने मन से कुछ करता था, and I used to like it very much. It would touch my heart somehow. So and I had taken a sankalp long back, that is when I was 8 or 9, that I will learn Dhrupad. And then my forefathers, my mother's side, they were all Dhrupad singers of the Vishnupur princely state. So Lalit Mohan Mukherjee and Rabindranath Tagore, they have learned from the same guru. So Lalit Mohan Mukherjee, my mother's grandfather, he learnt with Rabindranath Tagore from Yadunath Bhattacharya. So it also may be something genetic. So I think it could be genetic and Purva Janma. I believe in Purva Janma. So without Purva Janma Sanskar, I don't think you get into any kind of such thing of passion. Because people would, switch jobs, people would switch professions, people would do it. But I have never switched away from music. Even Alpana, for that matter, her mainstay has been music. So Shilpa ji also used to be a dancer, but music has always been with her throughout her life. Even now, I think Vivek has joined. Vivek had come to me to learn Sangeet so that he can understand it better and maybe apply it to his film ambitions in cinema music. But once he got into Dhrupad, he said that this is something I cannot leave. I will do something else also, but I will concentrate on Dhrupad. That is the answer to it. Vivek has got any questions?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Vivek, you are.
A little bit. I have a network connection, so that's why. So
A
sorry.
little louder, Vivek. A little louder.
Hello, now audible?
Yes.
हाँ हाँ.
जवारी लगाओ जवारी.
Oh, wait. I have network issues right now here, so that's why. Sorry to joining late for this. Hello everyone, and I think I have missed so many things. Right. The discussion and the riyaz from Sir and Amir Dada.
Just in the discussion,
Recorder,
Vivek.
Vivek, we'll record this so you can see it. We'll upload it on YouTube.
Okay. No issue.
And the topic is evolving the evolution of Drupad and questions in its concepts and also any questions you have for Sir on that.
So I know right now that question, like, whenever we discuss during the riyaz and all these kind of things, that I'll ask whenever I meet with Sir and all. But I need to ask how we are going to shape this Dhrupad Darpan now, and how we are going to work out with these things.
Yeah, actually, Dhrupad Darpan, Vivek has helped us a lot in terms of setting up the website of Bharata Arsheya Sansthan, which we have also highlighted the vertical of Dhrupad as one of the most important thing. So, thanks to Vivek, we have a website today. Now, secondly, see what we are doing is, Vivek, every month we are meeting and we are singing. Practically, we are doing it, and from that practical thing, whatever we are able to understand, new things, new insights. Reflecting our own mistakes. This process we are actually going through, and hopefully, I have also got some. I have met some people in Shimla. I was in Shimla last month, so they have assured that when you do a bigger program, maybe a conference or something like that on Dhrupad, serious work, not these competitions and all that. They would, ensure that the government of India gets its support. Because without Rajashray, these things cannot stay. I mean, we are all doing it on our own. Shilpaji is helping, Ame is helping. We are all doing on our own. So, with whatever little resources we have, Dhrupad Darpan is taking shape. Even it's come in Sakal paper also. Dhrupad Darpan, Bharata Arsheya Sansthan has been the name has come. So that's quite gratifying in one way. But we don't want to make it a big show or anything. One has to accept a fact that Dhrupad Sangeet has not only got the value of expansion, Brihat, जैसे हम कहते हैं नाद ब्रह्म, अन्न ब्रह्म, अक्षर ब्रह्म, ये कहते हैं. Why we use these words? Because they have the value of going into the human being's body or any animate or inanimate's body and expand. Naad also expands. Anna also gives me expansion of energy. Similarly, Akshar is Akshay. So one Akshar is able to give us a sentence. So all of them has this value of Brihat. So Dhrupad also, because it is a combination of Naad, Swar, Akshar, Pad, it has got this value of expansion. Sadharanikaran, which we say. People, when they listen to Dhrupad, they feel a sense of expansion. But it is also to be accepted that it is esoteric in many ways. You cannot have masses to come and listen to it, give you a standing ovation like you see in Michael Jackson's or any of these pop music. No, you can't attract those kind of crowds. So we know where we are, how much we can go, how much we should go. Otherwise, what happens is, in the process of Sadharanikaran, too much of trying to reach people, Prachar Prasar, I have seen many very, very well-known musicians degenerate their own music. They go down and down and down and down. So that we need to avoid.
My first question is related to what you just answered. And my second question you can answer later. As a person, for us, me, Vivek, Anshuman, we are probably here to learn Dhrupad, and we know that this is one thing we really want to do and take it forward. So taking it forward is an essential aspect of what we are doing, and we should, because this art form deserves certain work that should be done and taking it forward. And knowing, like you said, that it is esoteric and it has very specific niche kind of a thing. Though we have seen that it's not like new people don't come to listen, and it's not like they don't take onto it and they make it their own, but the numbers are very low, which is something we have all accepted that it's fine. So for us as artists, how do we create that space to sing our own Dhrupad? How do we create? Should we be extremely specific about the boundaries? Should we be extremely rigid about them, or should we? On what basis do you feel can we open up the field, the playing field, in order that we don't compromise on the values? We ensure that the purest aspect is taken forward. At the same time, we also allow people to accept it warmly, which I have seen personally. So many times I have been in places where I have sung absolutely alap jod jhala, knowing that nobody is going to understand. But people sit and listen. So I understand, like you said, Dhrupad has that, it has some kind of, you may say, alad or some kind of an attraction that, once, if you see it, you see it. So as artist, as a practicing Dhrupad musician, what more can I do to take it forward? That's my first question. And the second question is, I am very curious to hear your own experiences with your guru. My first question is related to what you just answered. And my second question you can answer later. As a person, for us, Ameya, me, Vivek, Anshuman, we are probably here to learn Dhrupad, and we know that this is one thing we really want to do and take it forward. So taking it forward is an essential aspect of what we are doing, and we should, because this art form deserves certain work that should be done and taking it forward. And knowing, like you said, that it is esoteric and it has very specific niche kind of a thing. Though we have seen that it's not like new people don't come to listen, and it's not like they don't take onto it and they make it their own, but the numbers are very low, which is something we have all accepted that it's fine. So for us as artists, how do we create that space to sing our own Dhrupad? How do we create? Should we be extremely specific about the boundaries? Should we be extremely rigid about them, or should we? On what basis do you feel can we open up the field, the playing field, in order that we don't compromise on the values? We ensure that the purest aspect is taken forward. At the same time, we also allow people to accept it warmly, which I have seen personally. So many times I have been in places where I have sung absolutely alap jod jhala, knowing that nobody is going to understand. But people sit and listen. So I understand, like you said, Dhrupad has that, it has some kind of, you may say, alad or some stories, some incidents, something that, because we have no other way to.
Yeah, very much, yeah. Yeah, the first question, if I may answer, if anybody else has got anything to ask, Sanjay ji from Jaipur. Thank you for joining, Sanjay ji. See, the moment we accept the fact that it is esoteric, the quality of Dhrupad Sangeet cannot be diluted. If we dilute it, then we are defeating the very purpose of Dhrupad. That's one thing. I am a traditionalist and I believe that whatever my guru has told, I will 100% follow it without questioning. It's one thing. But what you are doing, Shilpa ji, and what even Ameya is doing, that it's really commendable that you have gone into exploring the formats which have been presented by a great composer like Muthuswami Dikshitar. You have gone into that. You have forayed into that. Ameya is also exploring the Nepal form of Dhrupad, which is what is it called? Charya Dhrupad. So this is very good, because you bring in, what you do is, from the different, not very different domain, you get people to appreciate your music and you also naturally, since you are taking the first step, you have already appreciated it, so you are going into it. So that is a symbiotic relationship I fully endorse, and I would request everybody to look at these kind of branching. But at the same time, one needs to understand that when my first student, I'll tell you, it was in when I was learning, that time only one student had come to me, said that I hate Rag Sangeet. The first thing he said, sir, I don't want to learn all this ha, hoo, I hate it. So I said, no, but I'm not, this was in 1980s. So I said, no, but I'm not going to sing Rag Sangeet. You just listen to what I'm singing. So I just started with Tanpura Laga ke, I started doing alap of Rag Bihag. Then he said, what you're singing, sir? I said, I'm singing classical music only. What you hate, I'm singing. But sir, this is I like this music a lot. Now, the exposure which that boy had got as classical music is something which is decisive. Now here, unfortunately, one has to have some political considerations. The political considerations, one is a little bit of advocacy required, but that is one thing. Second thing is all the universities of India, Ministry of Culture, etc. should be apprised of what Dhrupad is. Because barring Chhattisgarh University and a few other universities, like BHU and all, Dhrupad is not in the curriculum. And what even we were taught in MA University in Pune, when I did my MA PhD from Pune University. So what I was taught, Dhrupad is what? Devi Devtaon ki stuti, that is one. Second description is एक पट, दो पट, तीन पट, चार पट गाना से ध्रुपद हो जाता है. उसमें कुछ नहीं है, and it has become so ruksh. Dhrupad is so dry, so it has lost its charm. People have started disliking it. Therefore, Khayal has become number one. Although I don't differentiate between Khayal and Dhrupad at all. They're the same thing. So there is a very deep necessity for us to actually lobby with the government of India. Look, Dhrupad has to be one faculty of music because it's the father of Indian classical music. The problem is, there are many very great musicians who say that the son is always smarter than the father. So Khayal is smarter than Dhrupad. So my reply to them, I have already replied, but also I want to reply. The smartness is not the only value which one has to nurture. Wisdom is also one value which one has to nurture. There are so many other things, values. The whole value system comprises many other facets than smartness. Even a politician is smart. We don't know how close we can get to a politician. We don't know. I mean, I have tried to talk to politicians and saying, look, let us have this Dhrupad as a, this thing. Ministry of Culture does not bother. They think it is a problem with the bureaucracy and the ministry is that they think music, dance and all, these are cultural items. वो कुछ बड़ा इवेंट होगा तो उसके साथ में थोड़ा सा कुछ गाना बजाना भी हो जाए. Item song. They have not yet given it the value of culture as a mainstream of culture. Now this is where we need to work. I mean, as a singer, you and I, we cannot do those things, but we can at least, now, for example, if we do Dhrupad Darpan in a slightly larger scale and involve one of these people to understand what Dhrupad is, it can work. But I don't think in any way to change the format of Dhrupad, to alter it, to bring it to a degenerate level so that people can understand. I won't like to do it.
नहीं मतलब फॉर इंस्टेंस अभी जैसे ख्याल गायक हमने बहुत सारे देखे हैं कि दे वुड सिंग द ट्रेडिशनल कंपोजिशन अर्लियर विलंबित गाएंगे, उसके बाद एक ध्रुत गाएंगे एंड देन इफ इट्स अ लॉन्गर परफॉर्मेंस दे वुड सिंग द ठुमरी और समथिंग सेमी क्लासिकल और सवाई में वगैरह दे विल सिंग एन अभंग और भजन समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो आई थिंक probably Shilpa ji is also referring to something like that कि would it be so wrong to एक ध्रुपद जब हम लोग गा रहे हैं आलाप जो ढाला सही से किया, कंपोजिशन गाया, उसके बाद सपोज हमने एक अभंग गाया, तो do you see that as degeneration as well? like as a performance?
No, I don't see singing Abhang or anything as a degeneration. What I'm saying is the format of Dhrupad itself should be sacrosanct. That is one thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, with a performance platform. Are we singing the Dhrupad properly to be able to sing something else? Let us first master it. So once, like Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, he was singing Khayal for a number of years before he started singing Abhang. But it was because of Abhang that he became famous, world famous. So our goal is not to become world famous or famous. Our job is to promote Dhrupad, not Abhang or Bhajan. I agree that if I sing a bhajan in a rag, people will get attracted to the rag. But why don't you have the guts to let the people know that Dhrupad can give something which is unique? You don't have to piggyback on something else to tell people. Dhrupad ke alap mein hi itna kuch hai, and that is the fear factor. I am talking about a little political. That is the fear factor, which is preventing Dhrupad to come into proper universities and all that. This is a problem. We'll have to solve that problem.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, as a Drupad practitioner, we know how we do a traditionally music and for Allah, for Bandish and all these things. But here is the problem ki how we should approach to new people, like for Gen Z generation, or for you just said for political support. We need to tell them ki this is our traditional way of singing, why we sing like this with so much 30-40 seconds minutes allow, and then we approach to Bandish with a lot of upaj and all. So it will be basically almost 1 hour plus kind of exploration of one rag. Particularly if we approach to any khayal musician, so he will sing one rag within just 5 to 10 minutes directly, exploring Bandish and doing upaj in that. So here how we are going to approach to new generation, and if we have to approach to this authoritative guys from politician and all, so how should we approach in that?
Shilpa, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add two experiences, recent ones, not with politicians, but with Gen Z. One is when we were in Pune, Ameya knows, and there was a young, 20-year-old boy, and he heard the entire rendition which Ameya did. He heard me singing. We sang just pure Dhrupad, and I even sang Dikshitar, Sanskrit, and all that. He just listened absolutely with absolute focus. And we asked him, you didn't get bored? So, Ameya, just a second.
Oh, sorry.
Just mute yourself because, yeah. So we asked him that, did you not get bored? He said, no, but I think I'll probably start listening. I can listen to this forever. He actually said that. And just last Saturday, I was in Noida at somebody's house. We had a baitak, and there was an 18-year-old girl who came with her parents, and I asked her the same question because I'm just curious, like you, that how come is she sitting because her parents are sitting and they're forcing her to sit and listen to us. But I asked her, did you get bored? She said, not even once I got bored. And the thing is, I sometimes feel, I don't know about politicians frankly, but I sometimes feel that however much we are convinced about the music, we will be able to convey that to the audience. अगर आप उसको प्यार करते हैं with this thing, they can see it and they will have a very similar reaction. I've seen that with people who have never heard Dhrupad before. But if you are singing with a conviction, you are sending that forward. That I am assured. So I am now sure that if I am supposed to sit on the road and sing, I'll still sing because at least 2 or 3 people will listen to me. That is enough. But as far as political lobby is concerned, it works very differently. But as far as listeners are concerned, I think we just need some more platforms rather than the very traditional. Of course, उसमें है ही Dhrupad वहाँ, but उसमें मुझे लगता है कि वही 60 people are coming, same 60 people you see everywhere. But if you get slightly more options to perform at little more contemporary stages, for example, I performed at Bangalore International Center. I sang Dhrupad. And वहाँ पे तो Dhrupad is not much because it's a completely Carnatic listening crowd. And everybody heard me and they heard me singing Dikshitar without any oppositions. So I think probably it is a little bit more about our conviction. Secondly, I personally feel that we need to, as belonging to this current, space, I think we need to approach more contemporary stages to open up the reach of Dhrupad to contemporary audiences. People have not even heard it. And I know that when people hear it, they will get attracted to it. That much is my faith in this art form. Rest, I think, sir can say.
No, I completely agree with you, because on this same thing, I have been all my life. I have not approached any of these conferences, music conferences, etc. If you appreciate this, I have not gone to anybody to push my biodata to give me an opportunity to sing in Hari Vallabh or any other conference. No, never done it. What I've done instead is I have found my way, or somehow God has given me opportunity to go into educational institutions and do my singing, and that's how it has got some. For example, Film Institute. Amaya is a Film Institute pass out. There are so many Film Institute students who have come to me, and they have started now understanding Dhrupad. Now Bablu Bhai Sahab is almost on and every frequently going and performing Dhrupad in. So initially there was nobody who used to do Dhrupad in Film Institute. So it was I used to go and do Dhrupad Film Institute, or for that matter in any other university. Now in most of the conferences where I go, for example, I had gone to Shimla, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, National Institute of Teachers Training, Technical Teachers Training Institute, Kolkata. Everywhere I have sung Dhrupad, and everywhere the conference award was given to me. It was not the award which is important. Point is even for that matter, at Leeds University, I sang Dhrupad as a conference. The subject was music psychology. So this interdisciplinary approach has to be there. For example, I did a postdoctoral work in the application, the semiotics of music in Ritwik Ghatak's films. There is a fellowship I got for that. So these kind of interdisciplinary approaches can, so you can rest assured that the same audience will never be there. The number of openings at the university level for Dhrupad is 0. How does a person live? So one has to ensure some kind of, these are pragmatics. One has to ensure a fixed income and then pursue your music. That's the only way out.
Sir, I request if you want to sing a bandish, it would be a nice end to our samagam.
क्या गाएंगे? वो गाएंगे कि अपना मिनिस्टर्स गाएंगे? बीच में लाना।
ठीक है, कितना ठीक है, मेरा आ जाएगा। आपके सामने रखो, मेरा आ जाएगा।
Still, because I've spoken a lot, my voice will not work so re ra ra na na ra na na re ra na ra na na ta na do ra ra na na ta ra ra na 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 re ra ra na 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 no re na 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 no re ra ra na no ra ra na kaya mana indriya vani vasha to karale sadho kaya mana indriya vani vasha to karale sa tava idanda kamandala tava idanda kamandala kopi arana karale sadho kaya mana indriya vani vashato karale. Now if you may allow, I can tell you a few things about my Guruji. In fact, one of my friends who used to play the pakhwaj with me, I and he had gone to the National Center of Performing Arts to watch a program. So we lived in a hostel there in Nariman Point, somewhere in Nariman Point in Mumbai. And the next day we were supposed to go and attend the program. So I woke up a little too early at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was having my electronic tanpura, so I was practicing something. So now this was my Guruji had already passed away. So this was in, I think, 2019 or 20. So morning I woke up and I was doing my practice. This friend of mine, he woke up at around 10:30 and he said, "अरे I saw, I dreamt of you sitting in front of आपके गुरुजी और बम्बई के भी वो उस्ताद, बड़े उस्ताद और कोई एक था जो आपको कुछ तो भी दिखा रहे थे." मतलब व्हाट दे वर शोइंग. तो ही सेड कि आपको वो श्रुति का कुछ बोल रहे थे, श्रुति के बारे में. So you will not believe, this is incredulous in some ways. I also dreamed of my Guruji teaching me Shruti in my dream. So there was a thing which happened in both the dreams common. And I told him मैं क्या गा रहा था अभी सुबह उठ के प्रैक्टिस में, क्या कर रहा था मैं, श्रुति प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था. एक स्वर से दूसरे स्वर में जाते हुए जितने भी या उसके नीचे जो भी स्वर आते हैं, तो उन सब चीज़ों को मैं प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था सुबह उठ के. तो देन आई व्हाट आई डिड, आई हैड अ चिट, आई रोट इट डाउन, आई टुक हिज सिग्नेचर एंड माय सिग्नेचर ऑन दैट. जस्ट यू नो, बीइंग अ जर्नलिस्ट आई हैव गॉट दिस हैबिट ऑफ pinning down truth. So I did that and I kept it with me. But before this, Chandrasekhar Naringekar and I had gone to Savai Gandharva. तो चंद्रशेखर नारिंगकर told me that, अरे पता है मेरे को उस्ताद जी अभी भी गाना सिखाते. बोला क्या बात कर रहे हो. तो आई डेंट बिलीव हिम. अरे वो मला ते मराठी में कह बोल रहे थे कि मुझे वो सपने में भी सिखा के जाते हो. तो ही वॉज प्लेइंग सरोद. तो ही लर्न द राग सिस्टम फ्रॉम उस्ताद मोहिउद्दीन डागर, वीणा जो बजाते थे. He told me this. I didn't believe it, but this thing happened after all this thing happened. Now this is one incident which is incredulous. The other thing, a very interesting thing happened, is one day Ustadji was tuning the Tanpura. And people who know Ustadji, who have heard him, who have sat in front of him and experienced him, they know that the Tanpura he used to tune was unparalleled. I mean, nobody could really, at least I have not seen anybody matching that quality of Tanpura. So I said कि उस्ताद जी आप इतना वो कैसे लगा लेते हैं. तो फिर उन्होंने कहा कि बताऊंगा बाद में. Then I came to know on my own. See, now this is what is Guru. He told me हाँ बताऊंगा मैं. And I came to know on my own that ये तानपुरा लगाने का जो मेथड है वो एक है मेथड जो आई हैव टोल्ड माई स्टूडेंट्स कैसे लगाने का रहता है. तो उसकी वजह से तानपुरा इतना अच्छा लगता है. हालांकि मेरा तानपुरा उतना अच्छा उस्ताद जी से लगता ही नहीं है, तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता है. सो वन डे इन गोवा कला अकेडमी आई हैड अ परफॉर्मेंस. तो आई वाज तानपुरा लगाया मैंने. तानपुरा मुझे गाना था 7:30-8 बजे थे. सो आई वांटेड टू सिंग भूप राग और तानपुरा लगाया तो जोगिया राग बजा रहा है वो. तानपुरा के अंदर से जोगिया का स्वर निकल रहे हैं. तो मैं आई वाज सो फेड अप. आई सेड हाउ टू सिंग नाउ दिस. ये तो तानपुरा ऐसा राग सजेस्ट कर रहा है और बजे हैं 7:30-8 बजे हैं रात के. और somehow I managed to sing that Bhoop Rag. It was not to my liking that whatever I sang. बाद में मैंने told गुरुजी that गुरुजी ऐसे कैसे. हमने बोले तुमको बताया था ना मैं, तानपुरा ही आपको कौन सा राग गाना है नहीं गाना है वो आपको सजेस्ट करता है. अगर आपने तानपुरा ठीक से लगाया, आपके मन में जो राग है उस राग के हिसाब से आपको तानपुरा लगाना है, ये उन्होंने मुझे कहा. So this is something, one training which I got from him is unparalleled. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Roy, for such a wonderful and insightful session. I would rather propose that we definitely have this more often, as we usually have our Baitaks. I think we should also continue with our podcast.